Welcome in, everybody. My name is Josh, this Gaming Joe channel, and we are doing something a little different. This is a user request, not our normal gaming content. We are back on Farm Sim, and we are going to be making a map today from nothing. I don't have anything. Actually, I do have something, but we'll talk about that in a second. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming along, and let's jump in and see what we got. I don't know what we got. we got the ocean. All right, here we go. Let's make a map of the map. So the general idea here is, what does it take? And this is what a lot of people ask, is what does it take to go from a location, just a location, to an actual map? Now, I've got a couple different locations picked out. I was surfing Google Maps, and you can just do this forever and ever. I love surfing Google Maps, looking for locations. I'll be like, I was like, it was literally Googling like the reference area for certain movies that I liked, that I remember seeing farmland that looked cool. And then I'm searching Google Maps for that location and then making a map out of it. It's insane. It's so easy. But so here we go. So we're here. And one thing that I've been noticing, and this is something to go on, is one of the big changes with Farm Sim 25 was we got our first Asian map. Now, the weird thing is, if you go to the Asian maps category on Farm Sim, there's like nothing. And the ones that are there are just mods of existing Asian maps. Like, we haven't gotten any other Asian maps. And so I was surfing around, surfing, because I'm on the ocean. I was surfing around looking for a location that might be fun as an Asian map. Now, we have to remember the qualifications that I like for maps, because I'm going to make a map that I don't want to play. Like, I just as easily could. So it just as easily could, like, you know, I could come over here, go to the middle of China somewhere, like this, find a farmland area. You see the farmlands from the satellite view because they look kind of like grids of squares of farmlands. Let's find one. Here we go. I could pick this, right? And I could make a map out of this. So like, I don't even know what this area is. Here's a lot of fields, and we can make a map out of this. So we could come here and we just go like this. So all you do is you do this, you find a location on a map that looks interesting to you, interesting to the game, whatever, I don't know. And you go in here, you right click on Google Maps, and you copy. Now we're done. That's all we need. No, I'm just kidding. And then we come over to map for FS. So it's maps for fs.xyz. And this is another map that I was picking, but we can always come back to that one. I can find it again, I think. Maybe I should save it. Let's save that one just in case. Nope, I don't want to open OBS. Sorry. I want to open the other one that starts with OBS. Right. So we're going to save this. This is something like that. But anyways, that's the location we're saving. We want this one. Where do we click? Somewhere here. Let's click right here in the middle of this river. And so what you do is you copy that location, you hit paste. And so when you paste, it's going to paste into here. Whoops. And this is the maps for FS system. And this one shows like railway lines. See those? Are those railway lines? Hold on. Did I get the right area? Again, we're picking a random location, so if it doesn't work, pick another one. Here we go. So we could pick this, because this is the kind of fields most people like, right? And paste. And we're going to get an area of a map that looks like this. Nothing exciting, right? It's just lots of a town and a lot of farmland. So we're picking the farmland because all we care about is the farmland. And we have this line here that we want to kind of get. So we want to make sure we get the edge of that line. You see that line? The line right here. This line, the border. Because we want the edge of the, I think, because you see the line of the overlay of the map. So no, wrong button. Yeah, see the grid of the streets. We want to keep the same grid of the streets. We want this corner. So we want these farmlands, right? We could potentially go further south, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And you just line up right here in the window what you want. And then we start picking options. Now, these options are important, but not important, right? They're whatever. We're going to add a little bit of depth to the water. If there are any rivers, I don't think there are, but if there are, you can add them. And we can just see what it comes out with. I don't know what it's going to come out with, but that's how you create a map, right? And you click generate. You wait a few minutes. Now there's also a Windows application which avoids the queue process, right? Now the queue process is because this is on a public site. Now you can also download this software. And I already downloaded it. Let's see if I can find it. This is the latest version of software, which is doing the same thing. More info. How do I run anyway? So it's still, while we're generating, I'll show you the actual software. I haven't actually seen it yet, but close OBS because OBS is running for some reason. It's silly. There we go. And now we have Map for FS for Windows. So it's basically just a Windows application that does the same thing. It has the same menus and has the same settings, except when it generates, it's using your system to generate, not their system. So when you do it on the UI on the website, you're using their servers to do it, and then it has to transmit the data to you. If you do it on your computer, you can change the settings, and there's a lot more customization when you do it on your computer, right? So if we go back to the other one we wanted to generate, which was here. Boop. Copy that. Come here. There. See, this is exactly what we wanted to generate. Right? And now we can do the same settings. Right? And we can come in here and change the water depth to 1. We can add foundations. We want to generate backgrounds, water. We want to remove the center. I don't know what that means. Flatten water, maybe. We'll see what happens. Farmyards, sure. Add trees, forest density 10, sure. I don't know. Skip Drains, don't know. Let's go a little bit of field padding. Satellites, fine. Buildings, fine. Blah, blah, blah. Generate. Now here, it's running on my computer. So we just generated 2 maps. So this is running on my computer. And it still has to download some information from the internet. And so what it's doing, and this is just how it works. So what it's doing is it's generating this piece right here. And then it's also generating the background, the outside area around your map, right? And then it's taking those satellite data, the data from satellite imagery, and converting it into three-dimensional game data, and then it's giving you all of the files that you need to put the map together. Now, what it gives you is not a completed map under any circumstances. But come here, and here's our map previews. Whoa, that's cool. What is this? This is the DEM, like the texture of the land, so it's not flat. Environment, that's cool. This is the 3D model of the outer area. See that? That's cool. Drop OSM file here to browse. All right, so this is the outer area part, which is cool. And then direct download link ready. Where's the download link? Download map here. Boop. Right? And so what it gives you is it's going to give you a zip file. So we're going to name this. This is, what is the name of this area? It's not even in English. China. I'm gonna call it China, and I'm gonna keep this part. And because these numbers are the location that we picked, so you want to keep those numbers. Don't take those out, right? And we're gonna do like that. Now switch over to the program we downloaded, right? Open directory. And then here, this one has generated this map here. So it's the same map. Same thing. But this is where it generated it. So we're gonna take this. We're gonna copy into our map dev folder and paste. And the rename. And this one is that other location. I don't remember what it's called. I think that's what it's called. We can copy the location, find it again on Google Maps, like here. Here, let's use this one. Boop. It was called Cicada, S-A-K-I-E-D-A. S-A-K-I-E-D-A. It was close. Not at all. S-A-K-I-E-D-A. Okay. Boop. And let's see what it gives you. Like, because you want like instant gratification, right? You're building a map. You want instant gratification. You want to see what it is. So let's see what it actually gave us, because I don't know what it gave us, but let's look at it. So let me get my thing set up for this. Let's go over not to that. Let's go to that. We're switching my game directory. Leave that open. Actually, let's go to here. Game settings. Let's go open a new folder, new window. And open folder. We're going to go to map dev, select folder. Okay, so now we're opening the map, the dev maps that we're creating, right? And let's go into the one that we just created. So we created, which one did we create? We created something. Cicada, this one. Boop. So this one's a zip file, and the other one's not. It doesn't matter whether it's a zip file or not. If it's a zip file, it has to be Cicada. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open the index.html, and I'm going to edit it twice. I'm going to edit the title of the zip and the title of the map itself to show the name of the thing, so it shows up when I open the game. That's it. And then when we open the game, boop boop boop. Where's the game? Open the game. Give me 1 second. There we go. So gold. By the way, welcome in everybody. Thanks for being here. Welcome in Gold Gaming, J Meister, Deep South Gaming, Artemis. How's it going, everybody? Doop, doop, doop. So I don't know what's going to generate. I don't know what good it's going to look. I have no idea, but we'll find out soon enough. Okay. I don't know how to pick a folder. I think this is the China one. And this is the other one we generated. So these are the two new ones. This is apparently their new background. Let's look at the China one because that was the first one, which is this one. We didn't give it a name yet, but let's go look and see what we got. We don't want any of this garbage. Start. And that's how you make a map. So we're done. Ship it to ModHub. No, not really. I'm gonna edit my game settings because it's using the wrong resolution. Yes, so this is a map generator. So we're using maps for fs.xyz as a map generator. Now, I'll show you how to fix all the rest of this stuff. So what this thing is giving you is just a big leap forward. It's not giving you a map. You still have to do a significant amount of work, but it's giving you a lot of stuff that you would have to do. It's basically saving 50 or 60 hours of work, if not more. And it's doing it all in a few minutes. And to a map, it's because building a map, and I was talking about this with someone else yesterday, like building a map is like, there's really three parts to it, right? There's an idea, there's time, and there's testing, right? Those are the three things. So the idea is where you want your map to be. What kind of map do you want? How do you want that map to look? What kind of play style are you looking for yourself, right? And then number two is going to be time, which is how long is it going to take you to do all of the work that it takes to make that map happen, right? Why this is taking forever to start up, I don't know. And then the last part is testing, because you got to actually test your map and make sure it works. And that's one of the things that I think, honestly, a lot of people skip, is they don't do enough testing. Because maybe they think they don't need to. I'm not sure. What's going on here? It's not. It's supposed to stick this long. Okay. So we're gonna ignore that for a second. We're gonna go back to here and go back to here. Now, if we go back up to the top, there's a step-by-step guide at the top, right? Let's follow the guide. Let's see what it says. First thing you need to do, you need Giants Editor. You need some kind of image editing software. You need Blender with the exporter plugin, right? Requirements, pick your game, location coordinates, map size, blah, blah, blah. We've already done all this stuff. Choose your places, adjust the settings. So we've generated our map. We are on step 5. Download the zip file. Create a project folder on computer. Extract the contents. For Farming Simulator 25, the background terrain is now fully automated. Enable download satellite images and enable generate background in the background settings. It automatically creates ready-to-use background terrain i3D files. Find them in your assets directory. Simply import the i3D directly into Giants Editor. And it's telling you how to import the background terrain, create water planes, open in Giants Editor, configure fields, add farmlands. So it's telling you exactly like what we have to do. So we're going to go through this stuff in a few minutes, but let's see if we can get an actual the map to load. So I'm going to open the one that we loaded locally. See if that opens. I suspect there's something going on, and I didn't see anything in the log file. Log file. Let's check the log file. Oh, the log file's already gone. Okay. I'm gonna try the other one. Deselect all. Only select the map. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. Start. When you're building a map, and this is one critical thing, and that I'm looking at you, Gold Gaming. If you're going to build a map, you need a dedicated map building folder. Do not build a map while loading all of your mods. You don't need them. When you're building a map, you need to go in and out, in and out, in and out of that map. Over and over and over and over and over. You're going to be doing it constantly. You don't want to have to load 10,000 mods at the same time as you're going in and out for 5 times a minute. You don't want that. So create a dedicated empty map folder that you can use for going into and checking your map. Right? So this is the other one we did. New terrain, blah, blah, blah. It's trying to load things. Looks like it's loading trees. Keeps dying at 50 to 60%. Look at the log. So this log right here, if you guys don't know, like if I'm coming in here and I hit the tilde key twice, you're going to get a log, and you can scroll up and down the log here by using page up, page down. Right? When you don't see a console. So it's showing me what is loading, what the game is loading, where it's stuck, right? If it gets stuck, where it's stuck. And so you can look at the log file, but it's kind of annoying to look at it in this view. What I do is I open it in another window in a text editor. This is your save game, Farming Simulator 2025, your save game folder. And then in here is the log file. It's the same file. But the game is not loading. Is it just the new maps from Map4FS? Let's find out if we can just load a regular map. Maybe the game is being dumb. Download images, zoom level, generate buildings, texture, solve, add trees. Really? Okay, the game loads normally with a full working map. Okay, that's fine. So it could be the Map4FS. Maybe it's missing something. All right. I don't remember what's left, so let's figure it out. And this is how I'm going to go in and figure it out. So first of all, let's go into the generated map. Right? We have two folders for some reason. I don't know why. Let's look at Cicada. So we have Cicada here, and what we have, if we look in this folder, go away. And we don't have to look here, but we can look in also in here because it's the same thing. But we have our assets, background, roads, water. We've already, it created the background for us anyways, right? It created the background texture for us already, which is awesome. The roads, the water, right? It's creating all these assets for us. But if we go into map and we just open the map.i3d, we should be able to open this up in Giants Editor and we see what map it generated. So let's look and see what it gave us. Because again, all of this stuff is generated. It's not something that I did. It's not something that I touched. It's not something that I physically created, but it is, there should be a working map. And there is a possibility that I just have to open it up in Giants Editor and then save it once. I believe that is going to be the problem. If I remember correctly, if you don't open it up in GE and save it once, it's not going to work. Okay, so I've opened it up. I've saved it. And look at what we got. So we have did I make the water negative? I think it made the water positive instead of negative. Like it raised the water up instead of going down. Oh no, it didn't. It's just this one's weird. I think that was the flatten water setting, but this is the map that it gave us, right? Which is kind of cool. I like it. It's we got some buildings and stuff like that. We have, I don't like this random patchy grass that they put in. This is a Map4FS thing. And then we go up in the mountains and we have a little road here, right here, that goes up in the mountains. Right? It goes up into the trees and the forest, and then it created forest for us. So we have a forested area on the top and then kind of plains and stuff down here with what look like dirt paths around fields. And we have beginnings of a map, right? And so what we can do is, and what they tell us to do is in 25, you don't need, so the problem here is this is ocean and it didn't add it. So let's add it. File, import. And we're going to go up the same up one directory, go to assets, background terrain, open. Boop. That's the background terrain. That's not right. But this is the general background terrain, I guess. It doesn't line up. Um, 2048 0 20 negative 2048 and 300. Is that right? I'm trying to get the background to line up with the foreground. And it's not 2048. It is 4096. No. 4096. Yeah, it's not right. What's 4096 minus 1028? 3 0 math 72. Oops, 72. There we go. That's what we wanted. There we go. Now it's lined up. Okay. And then we're going to move it down until it goes down below the ground. And see how the hill is lining up now? Boop, boop, boop. And now we have background terrain. Right? See how everything lines up now? Look at that. That's fantastic. Okay. And then let's file. And we're going to have to do this all over again later, but let's remember these 3072 things. Water open. Right? And now this is the water. The water looks almost correct. Except it's off again. Why is it off? It's annoying. Oh wait, undo. It's probably the wrong height. That generated the rivers for us. It would be helpful if they lined up. In general, that's what we're looking for, except for these things are not what we want. And it's missing the ocean. This is ocean. Ocean. We can always generate the rivers ourselves. Yeah, I think that it messed up the rivers. Okay. And then I think we save. And then I think if we save, we should be able to get it all in the game, and then we can go into the game and look. Freeze translations. 68. Oh, I was close. I'm just waiting for it to save. We're gonna have to do it again because I messed up one of the settings. So we're gonna have to regenerate. We're just gonna get the general idea of what we're doing and see what it actually gets in game. Okay, we're gonna close it. Let's check it out in game. Yeah, and once we freeze this, so what Mick is talking about is once we get the water lined up where we want, we would then freeze the translations to make sure that it's set at 0, 0. But the water is a smaller. It's not actually the full size, so it's offset slightly because the water doesn't encompass everything. So we would have to line it up properly. Boop 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 boop. Continue. Deselect all. Always deselect all. Start. Now it should finish loading because so what happens is map4fs generates a lot of files. But what it doesn't save is the actual data files that the game needs. And because those are based off of the current GE version, you have to actually open in GE once before you can get those files. So, right? So here we are. We're on the map. We spawned in the middle of a forest, apparently. This is a really dense forest, which I actually kind of like. But we'll regenerate the forest later. We spawned in the middle of that forest. But as you can see, it gave us our overview of our map, right? It gave us the area. Now the middle of the map is here. If I jump here, visit Katie. I don't want to visit Katie. That's not a good idea. Visit Walter? Nope. Nope. Everyone's below the map. I can't visit anybody. Visit Noah. Yeah, they're all below the map. Tab. Come on. I'm like slowly falling into the nether. Come on, I just want to see the map. So if we open the map again, we see the NPCs are underground. So if we go into the map again, boop boop. I'm going to change my starting location so I don't start in the middle of the forest. And again, this is just temporary because we're going to redo it all in a minute. NPC spots. They're too high up. They're too low. We'll move them up. Vehicle shop. Grandpa. Grandpa there. We'll put the helper there. Put the forester here. Put the animal dealer right there. Vehicle shop. Where's the vehicle shop? Vehicle shop is there. Where's a good place for the vehicle shop? Vehicle shop is here. Good enough for me. Save. Where's my spawn location? I think it just spawns you at 0, 0, doesn't it? There's no fields yet. But we want to see what the map looks like. So we're going to... Let's try that again. Now, I don't even know if this is going to be a good location. Like, you know, we've generated a couple other maps in the past, and you never know whether it's going to be a good location or not, right? Let's go here and go back to, we are going to generate. We're not going to flatten the water. The dem water depth. Should the water depth be -1? No, just do the water depth as 1. Background. That's fine. GRLE, random plants. Random plants is no. I3D, forest density. We do not want the forest density to be so dense because we're just testing stuff, so we can just leave the density a lot lower. Skip drains, zoom level. It's fine. Region, auto, tolerance factor. Da, da, da. We're going to generate again in a minute, but to fix the water, let's see where we go. The weird thing is if we're looking back at the documentation here says that it says now with 25, it's going to create a ready to use i3D file, but it didn't. The background i3D file that it created looks good, but it doesn't have the map cut out in the middle, like the square in the middle cut out. So we may need to do that ourselves. I'm not sure why that's not happening. All right. Let's buy a tractor. What happens if we buy a tractor? And we have a tractor. And the tractor actually loads at the dealer. So this is our store. We have a store trigger. We just put it here randomly. We decided this is where it's going to go. So what do the settings do, right? So where we set a setting here that said, where is it? Add farmyards. See this add farmyards thing? What the add farmyards thing does is it adds these like flattened areas for farmyards. So where the map thinks that there's farmyards, it adds farmyards. And then the random plants setting is instead of just covering the map in random grass, it covers the map in random plants like this, which means this is something you're going to have to redo as you build your map. But yeah. And then the flattened water, it was trying to flatten all the water to a single water plane, which is what's creating this weird thing here. This is supposed to be a gap. But one thing that I like is that you can see the map is actually pretty smooth. The new generations have it being relatively smooth, instead of being very kind of layered at weird angles. But you can see from the overhead map, right, that you were driving along a road that exists in the map. It exists in real life. And it would be our responsibility then to recreate what's in the map, right? And so the location that I picked was over here by these buildings. It's kind of like the center of the map. But you know, you've got, to me, in just as far as a general map is concerned, you've got the beginnings of a map, right? You've got the land, you've got The terrain you've got, I personally like this because it's got some kind of like nice rolling hills. It's got a pretty interesting forest up there. They placed some houses for us. Now these houses are not the houses that I'd want, but they're here, and it kind of gives it some, I don't know, flavor. I don't know if that's the right word, but this looks like it might be like a pretty good-ish map. I like the hill. I like the hillside. I like the water in the distance, right? I like the hill, like the outside world, the outside dem looks good. Using the satellite imagery to create the lands around, right? It's got a pretty steep hill right here. I like my steep hills. Look at how much we're slowing down going up this hill. It's got sight lines. Look at this. That's all the map. That's all stuff that we can build into farmlands, right? So that's the general premise of how you get from a location to a generated map, right? We're not going to bother with the China one just as I was giving you an example, but let's do a different location to see if it does any different, right? So we might come back to this. We saved the coordinates. So far, I'm overall, I'm liking this general area. Let's pick another location just for a different look. So this would be another type of map that I would enjoy playing. Whether you guys would or not, I don't know. But so this is very more we're in the Alps here. And this is more grass and small little houses here and there. And this would be more of a rustic style location. So I'm going to copy that location. And we're going to come over here. Boop. It's downloading. Okay. And so this location actually is much bigger than I thought, or it's much smaller than I thought. So the center part of this map, right? This part, it would actually encompass a lot more. So it's maybe not a good location. What I'm looking for is a rural. But I'm looking for rural without too many houses. Because houses is what takes a long time. I kind of like that area though. Look at the switchback roads. So cool. Love the Alps. But just for fun, since we're already here, let's generate this and see what it looks like. Maybe we only do the middle part of the map. We don't do all of it, right? And so we're going to keep the same settings we had before, right? We're going to let it generate things, and we're just going to generate it. Settings, texture schemas, tree schemas. Oh, cool. And so you can create schemas in the Windows version so that when it generates and uses random buildings, like I could create a schema that says, a JSON file that says, okay, use these 6 buildings or these third-party buildings. So if I'm generating an Alps-based map, I could generate an Alps-based map with Alps-based buildings if I have a building pack or something. Let's look at this one as a slightly different look and feel for generating a map. I don't really know what kind of map I want to build. I kind of want to build an Asian map, though. That's kind of like the current idea. Because no one else is building Asian maps, so like no one else is using those buildings that we got from Hutian Pantai. And so why not? There's no reason not to. Welcome in, Lightspeed Biker. I see you there. Thank you for coming in. This place, right? Check this out. This is what it looks like. So we can pull in this. This is what this area looks like. Obviously, it was taken by some Harley dude with a 360 camera. But look at this. Like, we're generating a map that looks like this right now. Yeah, no words. That's what we're generating. There's a couple more little viewpoints here. Right? Like, I could see this as a map. I could see this as like just lots of grass fields that you could turn into crop fields if you really wanted to. Like, I could totally see this as a map, as an alpine map, right? That was my thought. So I'm just like picking random locations. I mean, you could also, you know, just go into, you could pick, you know, because most people want it. Like, I could also pick farmland. I could go to like a California map, right? No one makes California maps, but I could go to where I know that there's farmlands. So let's go test down this countryside farmlands. Come down here to Monterey. Let's switch to the satellite view. And I mean, this is like farmland central, right? I don't know where to pick, but like, you wanted a map with a lot of farmlands? Here you go, right here. Brussels sprouts. Let's not include 156. Let's just, because those lines, the roads don't connect. Generate. We'll run 2 generated. One on their servers, 1 locally. Open directory. And so this is going to be like an alpine map, right? So we're going to go up 1 directory. We'll do the same thing we did before. So we're going to copy. We're going to go in our map dem folder, paste. And we're going to rename this to be FS Alpine, right? And right, and then we'll come in here and we'll just do the same thing. So let's see how fast we can do it. Alpina. We're gonna call that Alpina. That's gonna be the name of the map. Good job. Okay, and then we'll go into the map itself, which is the new one, right? Right, then we're going to go into the map, open the map, boop, boop, boop. We're going to open up a giant so we can actually get into it and look at it. We're going to make a couple edits. All right, and then I'm going to put a poll out for you guys who are watching. Start a poll. All right, we're in the game, I guess. We're under the map though. Okay. G is lagging because of the trees. Okay. G is super lagging because of the number of trees that it generated. Was it me that had some old school placeables? What do you mean by that, Gold Gaming? Yeah, G does not like this. Oh, I do have some Western buildings, but I don't have them as placeables yet. Sorry. God, G is like unusable right now. My gosh, seriously? Let's save it once, see what happens. Okay. I'm gonna save it and then we're gonna go look at it. I have a feeling I'm gonna want to regenerate it. All right, let's close it because it's taking up a lot of memory. This is done. This is a really big forest. Let's go look. So yeah, I have some Western buildings, old school placeables, Gold Gaming, but I have the digital assets. They're essentially Blender files. And they need to be converted and textured properly to be brought in as placeables. I don't have the know-how to do that. So I've been looking for someone who does have the know-how in Blender to help me bring those placeable assets into the game. So I didn't make them. They're purchased objects. But they would be great in the game and you could make a Western town. But I haven't had the time to learn Blender to be able to do that. So if we look, this is going to be that new map We'll see what happens when it gets there. If you do, hook me up, because I've got I want to say 200 buildings that I think would be perfect for the game. Everything from actual like American style buildings, like middle to older style American buildings, to actual like Wild West kind of style buildings. And I have silos, I have grain things, I have production sites and windmills and all kinds of stuff. It's just waiting for someone to help me get it in the game. That's gonna be my focus for next year, is trying to get that stuff into the game. But I just haven't gone there yet. Oh, you know, we didn't bring the outer area here, the distance scenery. Let's buy something. I don't have enough money. Whatever. This map was less than successful. Like, it's having some serious problems, like rendering stuff. You see that? I don't know what that problem is. Look at this. And like, as I get close to the houses, they disappear. I don't know. I've never seen this before. I mean, the terrain looks awesome. I would totally play this map, but this is just looking super strange. It might be the density of the trees. The trees are still super dense. There's too many trees. All right. I thought I changed the tree density. What was I generating here? Oh, this is the this is Monterey. Yeah, I set it really, I changed the density settings. So we're doing map for FS. I changed it down to 4. Do I want this number to be higher or lower? I don't remember. I think maybe 4 is the wrong direction. Maybe I want the density to be higher, like 20. Like, it doesn't really explain anywhere. Generate trees. Where is it? No. Forest density. It doesn't say. What's the density? The distance between trees. Oh, 4 is going to be a super dense forest. So I did it backwards. Let's do 20. Let's make a less dense forest so that it actually loads. I haven't used, this is all new. Like they've changed the interface completely since the last time I used it. So oh, you know what? I can actually set this. I could just actually set this to the into the directory we want instead of having to copy it. That would be smart. Let's go here. Here. Open directory. Copy. Replace. Four. So I basically set it. I set it. Make sure you set your plateau a little higher than 0. Oh yeah. I'm way higher than 0 right now for this alpine map. And of course, I'll probably regenerate the trees myself anyways. This is just temporary trees for the sake of trees. As you see, I'm way below the ground. Okay, that's much better. Okay, much better. Okay. That's interesting. I actually think I want to generate this lower to get this second area down here. Right? I don't want to get this hillside because that hillside's essentially unusable. I want the hillside to be the background. Here. Like I want it like this. Do I want it like that? Do I want to include that town? I can include that town pretty easily. If I did this, I can include the switchback road. Okay. Perfect. Forest density, background, generate water, remove. See, I have remove center checked, and it's not doing it from the background. I don't want the random plants. Add farmyards. Trees will make them less dense. Texture, satellite, buildings. All right, let's try that. So we're getting there. We're getting to be what I want. But this kind of like hillside terrain, alpine looking kind of thing, which I like, with the open grassy plains and like the little farmhouses dotted here and there. That's cool. That's fine. The fact that it's hiding everything as I get close is a little unnerving. But whatever, we're in the middle of regenerating, so it doesn't matter. Hey, Joseph. Hey, T-Tap, thanks for coming in. Thanks for the suggestions and the help. I haven't done this in almost a year. And if you guys remember when we first started, and I can open them while we're waiting here. When we first started in farm. Can I stop this? I'll get there. We started doing a bunch of these things, and like all of these places were places that I generated. If you remember, we we generated a 4x for Cochranville. This is one of my ones that's like this Agoshima Island. I really want to still make this one. This one would be a great Asian map. And it's, I think this one's a 4x, right? I think this one's a 4x. But Agoshima Island, I'll show you where that is on the map. We don't want this one. Here you go. This is Agoshima Island, which is just freaking cool. And so this is I would love to make this into a map, because do you see what this is? Do you see what this really is? So number one, it's an island, and number two, it's a crater. So it's a crater island, and I can't, so I'm not in Google Earth. I can't show you the 3-dimensional part of it, but this is the, like the entrance, the water area. And then this road right here is a tunnel, which goes through the mountain into here. And then you have like a city, which has some small farmlands. It's lots of forestry. But it could be, we could redo it and like have a lot of this not be forested, or only have forest on the outside and just have the rest of it grass on the inside, right? And I would think this whole area on the inside, just grass, random trees, forested around the outside. And then you also have a secondary town up here, right? Which, you know, lots of assets. And then there's, this is all special. I don't know what this is. This is satellite view of something. I'm not sure. But if you look, it's all these traditional like greenhouses and like old school slate roof houses. But it's in a crater. And so this twisty road right here is going up the side of the hill, the side of the mountain. And then you have another one that goes up and around on this side. It's so cool. Like there's a port here, but this port is not really a port. It's like a, I don't know what this is. Like it's a very cool island that's, for reference, it's here. And Japan's up here, right? It's just a small island off the coast of Japan. It has one ferry line that comes in, and that's it, right? And so this is the one I want to make as a Japanese map, because it's standalone and you could make it any way you want. And you could easily turn this into like, it could be, it's very dense forest, but you could turn it into grassland, and I think it would look really cool. Copy. Let's go back to where we're supposed to be. Here. Paste. Replace files. I'm going to browse to the right directory in this time. And if I have to generate it again, I will generate it again. Select folder. So this is the folder we're going to generate into. Okay, let's do it one more time. We're going to go back in and edit the map one more time and see if we can get something we can move forward with. And open. Cancel. Yeah, DTAP, I was thinking about that. I haven't figured out how to solve it, but I have been thinking about that. The other thing to do, so the other thing is that the size of that map has the center area inside the crater, roughly 2 kilometers squared. So you could just have a tunnel and have that be like a zone, like a border. Oh, look, it's working much better now. Ooh. And here's our Alpine map. What? I don't know. What do you guys think? File. Import. Background. Textured mesh. Assets. Background. Background terrain. Open. Was the number 30 negative 3068? Copy. Paste. Okay. Let's see. See, the problem is that it's supposed to have the center cut out, and it doesn't. This piece right here, this background terrain thing, is supposed to have the center cut out, and it doesn't. So I'm gonna have to do that myself. Because see how it's like it's lining up perfectly, but it's not cut out, so it's not matching correctly. Save. But I'll have to cut out the center and get it to work right. For now, I just wanted the the look of the background. Why is it doing? What the hell is this song? I'm moving it. It looks like it's grass. It looks like it's just grass. Is this supposed to be a river or something? Or a road? No, this is a road. What is this? Oh, that's a river. That's supposed to be a river. How is that possible? But if that was a river, that's a pretty freaking cool river. If I can figure that out. Oh, thanks, McGarrett. That's why most maps have a small lip on the outside. Yeah, yeah. The rocky edge. Yeah, exactly. I mean, with a generated map, though, logically, like, there's not much. I mean, it's not much. The lip. But it's generating the information from the same. It's the same information set. So if you cut out the center, they should line up perfectly, technically. What happens if I import water? Because I told it to generate water. Is it generating water? I don't know what's going to happen here. Oh my god, it actually generated water. 3-dimensional water, for that matter. Are these flat? Are these water assets flat, or are they angled? Oh, they're perfectly flat. See, that's not going to work because the map is not flat. So even though it generated the water assets with the correct shape and all that, they're not the right angle. Yeah, see, they're just the water. That's not going to work. Actually, background terrain. No, it's supposed to be. Whatever. So the water is not going to work. We might have to create water on our own. But actually, these kind of areas would probably work well for the existing assets that are in the game that we can just like float around and you know, play with it. All right, so what's the vote? People are kind of split on this vote. 56 say the Alpine one, 44 say Cicada. Huh. All right, well, let's get this to be at least in the game and see what the game does. Because right now it's being all glitchy. And if I can only view it from the top of the map, like that's vehicle shop. The vehicle shop there. Put the NPCs, put grandpa right here. The farmer right there. The forester right here. The animal dealer right there. Save. Let's see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. This is kind of, to me, this is the troubleshooting part, where you're not sure what's going on and you're wondering why it's being weird. Save. So we did save it. This might be a little bit hillier than I wanted. Right? Like I was looking for a hilly alpine region, but this one's a little bit much. No offense to this alpine region, which looks really awesome, but it's more of a hill than I wanted, if that makes any sense. I just zoomed in on a random location on a map. Like I didn't actually think about it. Part of what I'm looking for when I'm like searching for these areas, right, is I'm looking for, I mean, I don't really want to make a farming map. I want a grassland map. Where's this place? Oh, there it was. I lost it already. Right? I don't know if this area would be better. This looks similar. Anyways, we saved it. Let's go into the map. And then the other thing is, if we find that it's too steep, we can just make it less steep. But I like the idea of it being real, you know? Oh, it's this one? No. Oh, we renamed it. Hold on. By accident. Educational. Okay. Thanks for stopping in, Deep South. We'll figure it out, fix it, get it working. I'm open for whatever as far as building something, but I don't want to build typical. I want to build something different. What I'd love to do is build a wilderness map based on a real location. What? Back. Deselect all. Start. I want to build a wilderness map based on a real location. but I haven't been able to find a real location that works for what I want. Yep. Let's visit David. Or maybe Walter. I don't know what's going on here. There's something going on here and I'm not very happy about it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Like, what is... I mean, you just... Like, I can't even see the tractor based on, like, how I... That's in the Black Mountains. Three Cheers is a great grassland map. I love that map. I still actually want to play that map. Like, what is going on here? Does anyone have any ideas? Like, if I zoom out and I fly up in the air, right? It looks awesome. But the game is, like, not wanting to render terrain. Like, I'm flying up, I'm higher. The higher up I get, like, what we have here looks nice. Right? But as soon as I get down near terrain level, it, like, starts glitching out. And I don't know if it's this background layer or, like, the terrain layer is not working or something. Maybe it is the background. Hold on, let's just change the background. What am I doing? Do not use these files. Full object, not resize with foundation. This is not working. It's, you notice how much faster things move and operate when the background's not there? It's like the background is killing us. And I do feel that it is. Also, why is the grass painted in that weird way? You see that? See, like the roads don't match up with the grass? The way the grass is painted? Yeah, I think that's what's happening. No. Okay, let's do this one more time. I think I know what's going on. Okay, we're going to do one more time. We're going to make sure we come in here and delete. We're deleting it, and we're going to re-export it because right now I think there's a conflict between what's being exported and what's not being exported. Generate background, the remove center. Actually, hold on. Let me look. I gotta look at something. Where's the one we generated here? We just generated this. Assets background. The one we generated here, I want to see if it's actually cutting out the center. Because it could be the standalone one is not cutting out the center. What other one did I generate on there? This one? No, that's not generating background. I can figure out the background later. Sure. And what did DTF say about the plateau? Make sure you set a plateau higher than 0. Oh, this one. Okay, so we completely regenerated it. Let's do one more time. See if we can get it to work this time. And we'll leave the background out for now. Because it's still not cutting out the center like it should. Yeah, see, it's still doing like the weird texture thing when I get too close. Like it's doing it in GE too. Like, see this? What is this thing? What is this? Why, when I get close to the texture, to the terrain, is it cutting out the terrain? Like, what is that? Like, how am I supposed to actually do any work if when I get down to ground level, it cuts everything out? Like, that's, to me, this is broken. And this has something to do with the generated files. It has to. It has to. What if we open up this one? Like, this is not usable because it's not generating the ground, right? And so I'm opening up giants on a different map right now. And remember, this is 0.008. It's like he just released this for this thing yesterday. That one's not even opening at all. So I don't think the Windows version is working. So let's not use the Windows version. Let's use the website version because that's the one that we know works. Right? Let's pick our settings again. Blur radius, water depth, fine. Add foundations, yes. Generate background, yes. Generate water, shh. You don't need to, but whatever. Farmland margin, add grass, random plants, no. That's fine. Add trees, yes. Force density, we're going to turn the density up to 20 so it doesn't generate too many trees. Satellite setting, download images, we want that. Buildings region auto, hey McGirt, thanks. I don't know if G is broken. G is G, I mean it could be. I more have a feeling that it's the other one. It's not us. It's not necessarily GE. It's something to do with that's a cool looking alpine lake. It has something to do with the settings, or it has something to do with what's being generated. I mean, we're relying on the generation, right? That's our failure point here is the generation. We're relying on something that's being generated, and we're relying on it to be generated properly. Sorry, we're still waiting for the generation. I'm just surfing, looking for new locations. If this doesn't work, we're going to move on to something else. Just because this is kind of wasting our time. In the fact that we're not able to generate a map that looks normal. Hammer turkey. I'm just generating a regular size map. DTAP. I'm not trying to do anything special. Like larger maps are fun to generate, and I like larger maps personally. But if I'm gonna make a map, I want it to be for all platforms initially. Okay, so here's the same thing. So this is the same. This is generated with the online version, and as you can see, look at the smoothing. So it's doing a lot of work to smooth things out, and we didn't have it smooth. So look at, but it's still doing the same thing. Like if I get close, it's disappearing. The texture layers are completely disappearing, and this is essentially unusable. As far as ham or turkey, we usually do turkey for Thanksgiving and ham for Christmas. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Like, it's GE and or the game is being dumb. And but it's just from the generated maps. Like, if I, like, that's not a successful map, so I'm not gonna bother spending any time with it. If we look at one of the other ones we started a long time ago, this is one of the other maps we were working on before. Let's go to, it was this one. This is one we generated a long time ago. Hey, J-Meister. That I actually really like this map. This was like, I picked the wrong location. I somehow entered in the coordinates wrong, but I actually like the look of this map. I think this is it. Yeah. So this is another map we generated a while back, which is a very kind of strange layout, but in general, I like it. But yeah, there's something going on with the map generation because this is similar and it's works a lot better. But this also has the grass all messed up. But yeah, so it's the generated, whatever's going on with the generation, it's messing with GE. This one works perfectly. This is an older map that I generated a while back. It's not having the same issues, right? It's, this one's kind of wonky. Like there's something going on with the new generation scripts for map for FS that are not working properly. It's kind of bad news for what I wanted to do today. In general, it's not bad news. But it is bad news for today. Oh, really? Might be just the Alps. But we were having the same problems with the cicada, weren't we? The music turned off. Oh no, Cicada's not doing it. Cicada's not doing it. Let's see if we can regenerate Cicada. Okay, let's do that. All right, let's do that. Browse. We're going to go to Cicada, select folder. Copy. Paste. Choose folder. Let's see if we can do it again. So we restarted the application. Let's see if it works again. Do that. Select folder. And then delete it. Okay. We're going to go back to what we were doing and background. Generate background. Remove center. Should all be working. Remove center I don't think is working. We don't want random plants. We want to add farmyards. Sure. The tree distance, let's go to like 20. We're going to regenerate the trees anyways, so it doesn't really matter how dense they are. And T-tap saying put the plateau up. I want a water depth. I think that's all I want. All right, we're trying one more time. This is a flatter map. It does have some elevation changes, but maybe just the weirdness of the Alps because I was building literally on a hillside. It's not working. Let's go back to the website. Where's the website? Oops. Where'd the website go? There. Let's go to Agashima. Agashima. Right here. Copy. What is a 2K? I've always done this one as a 4K map. I'm wondering what a 2K map for Agashima would look like. Whoops. See, you could even do a 2K map for Agashima. If 4K would get the whole island. But if you just get the feeling of the fact that it's an island. Like this. I think that's enough. fine. Blur. That's where we're having a difference here. Blur radius 30. This one's blur radius 30. The other one's blur radius 3. Allow. Cancel. Generate. We'll regenerate. Maybe we'll do Agoshima instead. Because that's the one I really want to build. Where's the map for FS? This is done. Map generated successfully. So let's go check out Cicada again and see if it's fixed. Okay. So the Alpine one is not working for us. I'm not sure why. I could probably figure it out later, but map. Open external app. Okay, that's what I want. Now the rivers are like actual rivers, the way they should be. One thing that's missing from here is a water plane. Create plane. Scale. What? That doesn't make sense. Why does that not make sense? The water plane. No, I mean, I'm just like trying to think of where the water plane should be. But why is it not flat? Like, we know this is an island. We know the water, the ocean's here and the ocean's here. Why is this not matching up? That's whatever. Import. Let's see. Background. Open. Negative 3068. Negative 3068. All right. And then the height. Well, it's supposed to be generating these right? But it's generating rivers. It's not generating the ocean. See that? Like it's generating the rivers. It's generating the rivers properly. Whoops. And they're shaped correctly. They're not positioned correctly, but they're shaped correctly. Right? But they're not going to line up. Because they're not straight. They're not flat. Like these water planes, they're not actually flat as far as like it's trying to generate all the water on one level, like as if there's a single water plane. And the way the map is, the way that the terrain is it's not a single water plane. It's multiple water planes. Right? So we're going to have to generate these water planes on our own. But at least this is generating something more usable than the last one was. Save. And the other thing we can do is we can go up here to gameplay. One thing we can do that'll help us is we can take this background terrain and we can raise it up. Go like this. Bring it up. We know where the farmlands are. Right? This will help us determine where the farmlands are. So if when we get to like building farmlands, right, we can build farmlands using this and they will, so we can come in here and we can go window, where scripts, shared scripts, map, farmland fields, field toolkit. Right? This is the actual farmlands the way they exist on the map. So we're going to start off right on this corner, I think. Where do we want to start off? Yes, McGarrett, you can. Okay, so hold a second, please. DTAP's saying something that I'm not sure I understand. And that's fine. What are you saying, DTAP? I should do all of that before it touches Giant's editor. It's so much easier. Do all of what? Is the question. Okay, sorry. Do all of the fields? I've never done the fields outside of Giant's editor. But I think that makes sense. What is this? What is this stupidness? I wonder why it's doing this stupid thing out here, because that's dumb. Like, that's causing weirdness that I don't like. Um, so I don't have an account because when I go into it, I see this, which isn't anything. The DM, the link you sent me. But I think what you're saying, if I'm getting what you're saying, I think I get what you're saying. In that you're saying to actually trace in here. Where's the island that I'm looking for? Here. Right. I think what DTAP is saying is to use this, if I'm understanding correctly, to use this, and there's the problem is OpenStreet. There's no. Where's the satellite view? I thought OpenStreetMap had satellite view. Well, I think at the end, I think the high level. I'll deal with that later. I think one thing we've pointed out today is that when you're doing this, you can't necessarily, come on, catch up with me. You can't necessarily always rely on the automated tools to do the work for you. You do have to be willing to do the work yourself, as the case may be. Right? And so if we're going to be adding fields, we're going to use a satellite imagery to do that. And so what I did here is I just brought this up. Just visible. And then if I want to create fields, like these are the fields I want to create. So I'm going to start creating the fields. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a top-down view. I'm going to go into window, from what I understand, map, farmland fields, field toolkit. I'm going to add the field toolkit, and I'm going to come in here. I'm going to create a field. So gameplay, fields, field one is here. Polygon points. And we're going to do this, put it right here. And the polygon points are here. And so these are going to be simple fields, and we can tweak them later. Polygon point 1, polygon point 2. Oops, undo. Point 2. Point 3. Point 4. Right? And then that's the general shape of my field. If I then bring this back down, then I should have a field in that location, right next to that road. How do I show the fields? I forget. Toggle debug rendering? No. Selected field. Okay, so there's my selected field. This is where it kind of becomes between. I did the field pivots wrong. I can move it though. Why can't I see the pivot points? It's really annoying that I can't adjust the pivot points. Wait, what did I just do? It's been so long since I did this. I'm like totally learning as I go. Why is that not painting? How do I want importing objects though? I'm just going into and importing objects. This isn't i3D, but I can import objects all day long. Well, I'm importing an i3D that's already an object. So the i3D has an object in it. So GE only allows you to import objects that are inside of an i3D. And so the map for FS is generating, so it has there are objects in the file structure. If you look, here, right? If we look, it's an i3D. It's not an object, right? But there are objects in here, but you can't import them directly in. So you have to import in the i3D that's been exported from Blender. But the map for FS is generating that stuff, so from what I understand. Oh, I can answer that DTAP real quick. And if anyone else has questions, feel free to ask. CO says generate buildings, region auto. When it's in the map for FS, it's generating building settings, generate buildings, region auto. I'm have the generate the toggle on and off. Sorry, you can't really see what that toggle looks like because I have dark mode turned on for some reason. So building settings, generate buildings, yes. And then for the background settings, I have it set to generate background. On and generate water, right? So it'll generate those background files, right? And that's how I'm getting it to add that stuff. Other than that, I don't know. Aha, that's what I was looking for. So this is field 1. And we're going to change the points. We're going to move this point to here. Move this point to here. All right. Move this point here. Try again. And move this point to here. And so what I did, and I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but this is the way I'm gonna do it for now. Update field. Just about an acre. It's about almost a perfect acre of land. We're gonna come here, or here, and create field. Control B, put it here. Okay, it's not gonna select it right away. Control B. Field 2 is there. And then we're going to go to the polygon points and put the polygon point there. And we're just using the land that we have from the satellite imagery. So what we're looking at is a satellite imagery at the same level as where the ground is. Why does this not keep hitting bold, I think. Right. And then we update field. And then we have a second field. And so we can draw our fields like that. And if you want to rename these points, you can. You don't necessarily have to. The names of these stuff doesn't matter. And those are the fields and how the fields are going to be defined. And then we have to define farmlands too. So if we were to say that these 2 fields and farmlands are going to be 2 of our farmlands, let's go ahead and make the farmlands. So terrain info paint layer mode, blah, blah, blah. Go to info layer farmlands, farmland 1. And I believe we have to show the terrain to do that because we have it hidden. So this is how we would draw the fields. Farmlands. So the way the farmlands work, we showed you the farmland drawing stuff before. But basically whatever farmland you're painting right now is the color that you're painting. It's always whatever color is active. Like this. And then we didn't do this yet, but I don't know if it's doing it for us. It's not. I don't like having unbuyable land on my thing, but I need the game to not freak out. So we're going to do this for now. I'm going to do our farmlands real quick. And then we'll go into the game and see if we get it to work. So the game wants every pixel of the entire map to be defined as a farmland of some kind. Right? And so these empty pixels here that are not set to something, they will cause the game to be like the game to yell at you, and it won't pass tests and stuff. So what we're doing is we're using farmland area 256, which is the unbuyable land, as the border, kind of. And we're going to paint everything on the map with this color. Yeah, and farmlands don't like to be overlapped. You have to make sure you're not overlapping. The one thing you want to make sure is that you don't have, like right here, there's a couple pixels of the unbuyable land. They're overlapping into the farmland itself, which it doesn't like, but we're going to leave it alone for now. Right? Set my brush to 500. Paint everything around it. Right? Painting all the way up to the edge, all the way to all the edges. And you'll see where we're getting when we get this stuff done. We're getting a couple things done, and then we'll show everything off. Okay, so now everything is painted. Everything has a farmland. That's all the not buyable. We're going to make it buyable eventually. Don't worry about that. But this is what you want it to look like. Whoops. See how like the farmland borders the edges of the farmland, those lines. You need the farmland itself to go outside of those borders. So right now we're just kind of, whenever you're painting, you don't want to ever undo when you're painting farmlands. You don't ever want to undo. You always want to redo, if that makes any sense. You don't ever want to hit the undo key. Pretty much. Farmland 2, same thing. I'm going to make sure that there aren't any pixels of the unbuyable land inside our farmlands. We don't want that. One way to do that is set your radius small. Oops. Set your radius small and just run along the border like this. Set the radius to be whatever you want, and then follow the line with your mouse, and it'll fix that. Okay, so we're done with the terrain info layer paint mode for now. We can do creation. Now, DTAP, you might know, I'll ask and I'll do something else while I'm waiting for your answer. I accidentally painted show foliage. I actually painted dirt, and I wanted to go back to I I use this thing here that says repaint fields. And I accidentally painted dirt. I want to undo that. I don't remember how. Is that an info layer also? No. Environments. No. It's not that. I always forget where this is. One of the few things that I forget how to paint it, because like I could. Is it in the field toolkit? Clear fields, is that right? Clear fields map. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. I knew there was something. And then we'll repaint field 1. Or I think they did both of them. Yeah. So we repainted those 2 fields. Let's move the background texture down again. There we go. That should be, no, where was it? Okay, save. And then let's move a few things. Career start point. Let's start the career start point. Where? Let's put it right here. Boink. Let's put the vehicle shop. I like this little lot here for the vehicle shop. Okay. And then the vehicle shop itself, the trigger you can put wherever you want. We're gonna put it right here in the corner. Store spawn place 1, store spawn place 2. This one. This is where you start spawning vehicles. So we're gonna move that there. We're gonna rotate it on the same angle as the map. This. And if you look at the store spawn place end, it's spawning them that way, but I don't want them to spawn that way. I want them to spawn this way. Actually, no, undo. We want to do that. We want to rotate it this way. I see if it spawns along the red axis. So we spawn there, spawn place end there. And so we want them to spawn along this lot here. This store spawn place to start. That here. Rotate this around. Make sure it's the same angle as the other one. And then the end should be 50. 50. So we did our vehicle shop. NPC spots. Where are we going to put Grandpa? We're going to put Grandpa right here. Boop. We're going to put the NPC helper. We're going to put him up here at this little house right here. Boop. Put the forester up in the forest. We'll need a sawmill at some point. So where are we going to put a sawmill? I think right here is a good place for a sawmill. Animal dealer. Right there. Farmer. Right here. No. Put them near the farming. Save. Well, let's see if we actually get fields in the location of where we want the fields to be drawn. Why does that not look right? There's a road and a road. Hold on. Oh, it does follow the road. 278.5. Why are you beeping at me? Save. And then this is one, somebody suggested this earlier. Go here to freeze transformations, translates, apply, and now the center of the map will be in the center of the map, and that's fine, which is what we want. Close, save, and let's see what actually all this work did. Did we do anything? Let's find out. Comparing it to FS22, doing the fields with that field toolkit thing versus the old way of drawing like shapes and stuff like that, so much easier. Oh gosh, the old way was like you had to draw a bunch of 3-point. No, not one. That's not what we're doing. Continue. Deselect all. When you're in the old way to do it, you had these like 3-point shapes, and you just had to draw lots of 3-point shapes that overlap, like one like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. It was so annoying. It was the worst thing. Okay, and we're starting in the right location, right? We started where we said we were going to start, which is right here at this intersection between these two things. Right, and then over here we should have. Now it's weird that they used like the Euro buildings and not the Asian buildings, but we can replace them with the Asian buildings if we want. And we should have 2 fields here, though I don't see them. Hold on. Yeah, we got 2 fields. So unfortunately, the 2 fields, and this is going to be a problem. Is we align these 2 fields. We created these 2 fields based off of the original, based off of the satellite image, like this satellite image here. But as we're seeing, it doesn't actually line up with the real roads. Right, this road is going through these 2 fields. And so the question then is, what needs to move, right? Is because, right? So your fields, right, are, so if I come down to the ground, and if you look at where I am on the map, right, this is a decision you have to make, right? And this is one of the things that I think matters more to most people. I love how people are voting for the Alpine map, and we can't do the Alpine map. If I follow where the road should be based on the painting, I'm off the road. But if I follow over here, where based off of the field location, based off of where the fields end, the road should be, it lines up. And so that tells me that if I'm playing the game, in game, I'm going to want the road to be right here so that it lines up with the satellite imagery that's in the HUD versus whatever map for FS generated. So in some cases like this, I'm going to have to repaint the road to follow where the fields actually are, instead of because I want the fields to line up with the satellite imagery, not the fields to line up with the generated imagery, if that makes any sense. And so there's going to be some work that needs to get done to do that. But we do have fields. If you look, it's farmland 2. It's owned by nobody. If you look here, for some reason I can't buy the farmlands. That's interesting. But we do have 2 fields. Farmland. And I must have, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't add the farmlands file. That was my fault. If we go back to our code, what we didn't touch was, so we added 2 farmlands, but we didn't actually add the farmlands. So if we come into the farmlands folder, there are no farmlands, right? We didn't add farmland in ID 1, which means we won't be able to buy it. So we just have to buy it. And if you're not sure what to put here, just copy it from another map. I mean, that's always the right answer. Is if I come in here to the data folder, this is the data folder, and I go into a farmlands file for another map, I'm just going to do this. Copy. Paste, and now I have the first 18 farmlands. Even if I don't generate the map, it's going to generate little errors here and there. But, you know, that's how you generate. And then if this is here, we would be able to buy it. We would be able to buy those farmlands. Right? Pretty cool. Yeah. I like how some of these areas here are a little bit more, if we look on the satellite imagery, these are just kind of generic areas and they're open fields. If you walk on this thing in Google Maps, you can see that these are like forested areas or like lots of brushland. And we can do that. Now, the one other thing that we never talk about, and I've talked about this on other things. So one problem we have so far with this, what has been generated and what we have where we are now, is the buildings are wrong, right? These are not Asian style buildings. These are Euro style buildings, which doesn't make sense. So let's fix that, right? So we're not going to save the map because every time you make a change to the map, you have to do a new save game. So how do you get the Asian buildings? Now, some of them are going to be placeables already, but not all of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and steal them. So I'm going to go to the map, my data folder, maps, map AS, and I'm going to go into map as.i3d. And then I'm going to decide which ones I want to steal. So let's find a place to steal them. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go here, this folder. We're not going to go in the Alpine folder because we'll do the Alpine one later, maybe when I get it working right. Cicada buildings. These are the buildings that it's I don't know why it does that, but whatever. New map, new folder, placeables. Okay. Now, when you look at an existing map, these are Giants maps, right? This is the Giants. This is Hutan Pantai. Now, when you look at this map, any building that's actually in the map right now, physically in the map, they're not necessarily, some of them are, but they're not necessarily placeables. So like this whole thing, it's a pre-placed rice mill plant AS. Now what that means is this thing is a placeable, right? It is pre-placed. It may not be available to players to place. Oh, oops. It might not be able to be placeable for players, but it is something that could be placed. And we could place this on our map if we wanted. Now, some of the other stuff, we go in here. Like all of these buildings, these are pre-placed because these are stuff that are placeables. We know these are placeables. But the stuff that's not placeables is going to be this stuff. So like this little house, which is just a random, you know, Asian house, right? It's an Asian looking house. And if we wanted to use these assets for our own, in our own map, we could take this as it exists and save it. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a bunch of these buildings and save them. So CO says residential building 04. So I'm gonna right click. Actually, I'm gonna click on it once and then I'm gonna say file, export selection, not export selection with files, export selection. And then I come map, placeables. And what was it called? Residential. Oh, that's not what I wanted. File, export selection, new folder, residential. This is reside 04 dot 04. Boop. Residential building 04. And then we can do residential building 02. Export selection. We'll just do a couple of them. And this is going to be another one. We're going to do export selection. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do, this is B. Save. Residential building 10. Export selection 10. Now I'm gonna have to edit every one of these. Export selection 14. I'll show you what I'm gonna do. It's pretty easy. This is 14B. So export selection 14. Now these may or may not be the same. I'm not looking right now. I don't want to deal with it while it's in GE. Export selection. Oh, 09. We already got 4. Let's get 11. Export selection. 11. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to want these to be placeables. I'm not going to want them to be in game. I'm going to want them to actually be placeables. So the way I do that is I go out. We're not editing Hutian Panta anymore. We're just stealing. And then I'm gonna come in here. Delete. I don't need that one anymore. Now see, I have a bunch of i3ds. i3ds are cool, simple. But if we move into the data directory, boop, boop, and we go into placeables, map AS. See how these are all the placeables for that are there for map AS. Farm buildings, farm building 01, blah, blah, blah. We're going to take this. Those are farmhouses. So we don't want these all to be farmhouses. We want them to just be placeables, like decoration. So we want something that's decorated. Easy shed. No, I don't want a solar panel. Decoration. Garden sheds is a good one. This is the one I want. So I'm going to take this file. I'm going to copy the file. I'm going to switch back over to what we're working on here. And I'm going to go into map, placeables, residential, and then hit paste. I'm going to rename it. Residential building, O2A. Right? Boop. I'll rename this building in a minute. Actually, I'll probably rename it now. And then this file, we'll just put store item, residential building. We're going to change the thumbnail to be in this directory. So we're in map, place, bulls, resa, dntil. O2A dot PNG. And then we're going to do the same thing. Copy. Paste. We're not going to change almost anything else. We're just going to just leave it like that, right? So now we've created a placeable for our residential building. And then what we're going to do, the next step for this kind of stealing a residential building thing is I'm going to open up this i3D in Giants Editor. Now here's how you make it into a placeable that works. Okay, now we have a building, but it's like over there. Why is it over there? We don't want it over there. What you're going to do is change the center. Now, if you look, the center is not centered. So let's center it. Whoops. Tab 0, tab 0. We want it zeroed out. Everything's zeroed. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So now we have this residential building. This one doesn't happen to have very many decorations around it, and that's fine. But it has LODs, it has viz, it has details, eaves, gutters, it has lights, it has seasonal stuff, it has decals, it has all the stuff that we want. We just don't need it right now. So what we're gonna do is we're done with this building. We're gonna hit save. Right? We're gonna close that. And now we have residential building. Now, some of these clear area and level areas, they will affect when you try to, if you want these to be actual placeables. We can deal with that later. But what we're going to do now is we're going to copy relative path. We're going to go to the store items. Where's the store items? Store items. We're going down the bottom. Residential. Boop. Copy. We want to add a store item for the thing we just created, right? The only downside when in this, it puts the slashes the wrong way, so you have to just reverse the slashes. So now, and when the map loads in game, we're adding this residential building 02 into the map as something that goes into the file. Up here, it is something you could buy if you wanted to, can be sold, true, show in store, true. We're going to set this to false because it's just decoration. We don't necessarily want to show it in store. And now when we load in, this building will be there. Now, how do we get it in our map? Well, let's get it in our map. And so we're going to come in here and we're going to change this apartment building, which we don't want. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to create a new group. Call this pre-placed. And then I'm going to, I don't need this right now. File, import. File, import as reference, residential building 02. I'm going to move this into the pre-placed folder. There. Residential building. I don't need that one. I need residential building 02. Should have imported that as a reference. And then I'm going to put it right here. Okay. So this building is one of the buildings we want to have at this location. This is kind of in a hill. So we might want to flatten out the train, decorate around it, all kind of stuff. But where's the front door? Oh, that's the back door. We want the front door here. And then you do whatever you need to do to like set this out. We could whoops. Remove. Erosion? No. What is that? What is erosion? I don't even know what erosion does. Does anyone know what erosion does? I actually don't know. Or how to remove it. Yeah, but how does it affect the game? I mean, I understand what erosion is in general. But how does it affect the game? I'll have to play around with it. I've never messed around with it. All right, so we have our house. It's kind of on a hillside. It doesn't have a driveway. Doesn't have a garage, does it? Nope. And we do whatever we want. We can paint in some bushes. This is a US, basically a US map. We have to change the deco bushes to the US maps. But essentially, that's how we get the building into the map. Now, the thing is, this building is going to be there no matter. It's going to be permanent. We want it to be removable because we always like everything to be removable. So we're going to come in here and go to user attributes. Go to script callback. On create, add. Is that right? Placeables on create, I think. Something along those lines. I'll look it up later. And then we create the building in the XML too. So unless the pre-place thing works now for regular buildings, I don't know if anyone's figured that out, but the way this is the way I used to do it. This is the way I typically do it. Is we'll go in here to here, book a save game. We'll pick placeables. Take any placeable, doesn't matter which one. Copy residential buildings, go into placeables. This is what's going to get placed on the map. Go away with this. Blah, blah. We don't need price. We don't need age. We don't need that. We need the same XML path that we added to store items. Copy this. And we don't need a mod name. We do need a U. Right. Then we go back to the Giants editor. We click on the building. We're going to click on the first field. Control Shift C. Come over to here. Place the position in. Right. That gets all three numbers. And then we go here to the rotation. Control Shift C. Go here to the rotation. Right. And I always like to zero out these really long decimals because it's just not needed. 3 decimal places is enough. And hit save. Now, hypothetically, this should, when we go back into the game, we should have that building at that place. It should. Oh, okay. Hold on. That will flatten the area to perfectly level. That's the one thing I've never been able to get in GE is how to flatten. There's no flatten in GE. How do you flatten? I've never figured that out. But anyways, for now, we're just going to do that. And let's make sure it works. Choose the replace tool. Select the height you want. By hovering, and then Control R and then left click. Okay, I'm not fully understanding that, but I will figure it out. Hold on. No, not that one. Deselect all. Start. Okay. And there we go. And we should have farmlands now. See, we have farmlands. Farmland 1, farmland 2. Those fields should have crops in them because we got the farmland thing working. This ground is all cattywampus. It's not flat at all. We're gonna have to use DTAP's trick. But as you can see in the okay, that's perfect. As you see, we have some fields with crops in them. And so we're starting to get like moving forward. And so every little action you do, whether it's replacing a building or adding farmlands or building a road or everything you do, you're going to have to start a new save game. But it all takes just a little bit of time. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if I like this map yet, or like this area. To me, it's a little flat. Thanks for the subscription, Dewi. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. But this is kind of where we're going. Now, we don't have the, this is not grass. This is like something else. And we want to use meadow grass. We'll use the alpine meadow, not alpine, the Asian meadow grass. And then we'll fix the grasses and stuff like that. But this is the beginning of it. Let's actually see if this building that I'm looking at right here. Actually, I can't sell it because I can't own the land yet. I didn't think that far ahead. Yeah, I can't sell it. If we enter demolition mode, yeah, it's not letting me because I can't own it. So we would have to keep going with this. But that's, general principles as you're moving through and creating a map. A lot of the work we were doing this morning is trying to find the right location. I don't know yet if this is the right location. It is a good place for an Asian map. There's not too many buildings to replace. There isn't really a town. We'd have to build in the animal dealer and all kind of stuff. But the honest answer right now is I'm not loving it. I don't know why. I just not loving it. But we've got a couple of steps down. We'll keep going with it. The one thing that MapFrest does give you is this setup with the satellite view and having everything lined up. Like I'm on a road, I'm walking on a road, and I'm lined up with the road in satellite view for the most part. It's not perfect, but it's close. And so I would suggest definitely if you're going to be editing any of that stuff, edit the roads first. Like right here, where we have the road on the field and it doesn't really line up. I would edit it to line up first and then to start doing everything else, because that's the only way you're going to get there. But for me, that's going to be it. I need a break. I've been going for almost 3.5 hours now, or over 3 hours now. So I want to say thank you for everyone coming along. Thank you for coming along for this little map making adventure. I'm going to go in and go back into the Alpine thing, see if I can figure out the Alpine thing. I know everyone voted for the Alpine map because that seemed like a better idea. Maybe I'll try to find a different location that's less steep, more farming friendly, but still steep because I want it to be steep. And maybe I'm going to check out Agoshima again, the new export that we just did, see how that looks. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. We'll see. But until then, we'll catch you later. I'm going to probably come back a little bit later today. I want to get back into not this. This is like a lot of my brain, and I want to do something fun. So I think we're probably going to come back for Planet Crafter. We're going to do Planet Crafter a little bit. And then tomorrow I want to do Last Caretaker. So those are the other things that everyone voted for. So we're going to do some more Planet Crafter later on today. But for now, I'll catch you later. Thanks to everyone watching. Thanks for coming along. And I hope you learned something. I learned a few things. And I'm just getting back into this. So the more I get back into it, the more I'll share. And hopefully once we really decide on which map we're building, we'll nail it down and start really working on it. But right now I'm still a little bit not sure. If you have any ideas, please reach out in Discord. Let me know. Until then, catch you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. Special thank you to all our AI members for keeping this channel going. We love you. Thank you so much for all the support, and I'm humbled by all of your donations, which kind of keep me going. So thank you very much. Until next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check me out on Discord. Bye-bye.